Welcome to That Girl Films. Today we're going to be showing you guys how you guys can edit from your phone using iPhone settings and also 2 apps you guys can download in order to get those crispy images. This is part 2 of Shooting with Your Phone series. Go ahead and check out part 1 to see how we prepared and shot this photo shoot. It was all done with the iPhone. It's going to be linked in this video up top. But without further ado, let's get right into it.
Perfect.
So first I'm going to show you guys how to utilize the settings that Apple already gives you on your iPhone. On the left hand side is the photo in real time, and then on the right hand side I'm showcasing how I'm editing it. If you scroll up on this thing, this is basically showcasing the aperture. When you take it in portrait mode, the number gets higher, that the background gets clearer, and when the number gets lower, you actually get something called a shallow depth of field. And that's one of the ways your photos will stand out and make it seem like it's more quote unquote professional. And that's not just on your phone, that's also when you're using a camera. So the first thing we want to do most of the times when you're editing a photo or a video or anything like that is you want to color correct, because sometimes you don't get it right in camera. And it's all good. And you can't really control the settings on your phone sometimes when it takes a photo. So it's okay to do it in post. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to mess with the highlights and adjust the highlights. The clouds are a little bit too blown out for me. And so I turn it all the way down where we can still see the clouds a little clearly, but we also see some of the shadows within the cloud. It took some highlights off of her. So we're going to try and go back and kind of bring those back to make sure that she's separated from the background. So now I kind of mess with the shadows and the contrast just to kind of really pop her out a little bit more. And then I go in and I mess with the black point, which is really just utilizing and getting and grabbing the black points that are within the photo and popping those out a little bit more. And then I go into the colors and I mess with the cast and the saturation just to pop her out from the background a little bit more. And then after all this, I press the 3 circles in the middle and I want to look at some of the filters. So filters just kind of help pop out the subject and the colors in the photos even more. I decided to go with this one because it kind of has more of a grungy look to it. And, she's supposed to be angry / mad or whatever. So I kind of just wanted to go with that grunge look, and so it kind of being a little dark. And so I just kind of adjusted a little bit more, make sure she still stands out and not blends in. And that's really all I do. I just keep messing with the contrast and like the black and white until I kind of get a product that I am pretty much happy with. So yeah. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to edit and basically like retouch the photos. So the first app I'm going to show you is called Airbrush. Airbrush is an app that is basically like really good for retouching, but it also has filters and stuff up here that you can use as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So we just finished editing that photo on the iPhone settings, using the iPhone settings. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to really smooth out her skin using the smooth tool in the Airbrush app. And I just kind of really just go in and smooth out her forehead. You don't really see like any like crazy notice any like crazy blemishes on her, so it's pretty easy to do right now. And I just kind of go in and adjust the brush size just to really make sure I get in the cracks and crevices around her forehead and in between her hair and stuff like that. And then after that, and I try to just smooth out her entire face, her nose, her chin, all that. After that, I try to mess with this thing called like wrinkles or something, and I try to get the frizziness of her hair where it touches the sky. I tried to smooth that out, but it didn't work. So I kind of just left it alone and said whatever. And then I kind of go around and I try to basically highlight her face. I tried using the highlight tool, but it denied me. It said I had to pay for it. We ain't trying to pay for nothing. So I'm going to go back and use the skin tone and kind of use a lighter skin tone to kind of pop out her like forehead and like her T-zone and stuff like that. And then after that, I use the brighten tool to really pop out her eyes and her hair and even her glasses. So that's kind of like what I do with that tool, just to make her pop out a little bit more and make the photo pop just a little bit more, I just try to shine up her hair and make her eyes like kind of stand out a little bit more. Cause there's also filters in here, and I want to show you guys that. So if you want to keep, adding, various layers on top of the photo that you've already edited, that's kind of what I did here. And I just kind of adjusted again and just really just see if it really works with the photo, work well with the photo. And I just kind of, next app I'm going to show you guys does break the bank a little bit, but every photographer that takes this stuff seriously use it all the time, and it's called Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about what I do in here and some different ways you can utilize this app on your phone. So I'm just basically starting from scratch again, and I'm doing everything that we did on my phone on here, adjusting, the highlights, the contrast. And then if you press this thing called the curve layer, you can go in here and adjust it even more, and really get into the nooks and crannies of all the shadows and highlights that are within your photo. You can also mess with like this red is called the RGB layers, so it utilizes certain colors and their opposites that are on the color wheel, and you can just really play around with that and just play around with it and figure out kind of like what you like. If you go over this thing called color, you can mess with the temperature and mess and make it warmer or cooler. And then if you press color mix, this will actually let you mess with the individual colors within the photo. So right now, I really just want to make sure that red really pops. So you can make it oranger, pinker, whatever. But I kind of just want to make sure that red really pops out of the photo. However, even though you're utilizing certain colors, you still have to be a little careful because certain colors might be in the background or in the model's skin. And so if you mess with it too much, you'll start to notice again the skin in the background. It'll start to look a little weird. So just make sure you pay attention to that a little bit. And then I mess with this thing called the tab called effects, and you'll see at the top that it says split toning, and split toning is pretty dope. Also, so it has highlights and shadows on here, and so the highlights represent all the highlights in the entire photo, and the same goes for the shadows. And the best way to utilize these two things is to look at your color wheel and just do the opposites pretty much on the color wheel, and that's usually what makes the photo look pretty cool and dope. So I have my highlights at like orange or yellow or red, and then I got my shadows at like a blue, and as you can see it still kind of looks normal, but it kind of has that slight little bluish tint. And the balance at the bottom just kind of sees if you want it more orange, do you want it to push more towards the highlights, or do you want it more blue, which pushes more towards the shadows and really make those shadows pop. So then you just kind of look at the sharpening of it. You want to be crispy or you want to be a little soft. And so that's kind of what that does. And I just kind of undo that. We'll have in here some filters also. So if you go over here to profiles, you'll see that it has a modern, black and white, and a vintage profile, and probably another one. And you just kind of mess with the filter and adjust it how you like. You can use that. If you want to start out and start from scratch and start completely with the filter and then adjust from there, you can do that too. So yeah, so I'm going to show you how you can basically make and create a preset. They have presets in here that are already made for you. So this is the grain one. I don't really like it. You couldn't tell from far away, but when you close up, it's like, nah. Grain was really big for like film photos. But since this is digital, it kind of just looks weird. So yeah, there's different presets in here for you to choose from. Now I'm going to kind of go in and show you guys how you can save and make your own preset. So right here, so you see this photo, I already kind of edited I already edited it and I liked how it looked. So if you press the three dots at the top, you can press those three dots and you'll see this thing called create preset. And now, you just name the folder, whatever you want. And now you've created your little preset, your little filter that you want to use. So just to show you guys how to use it, you go over here, you scroll to where it says presets, and then you press the tab that says users presets, and here it is. And now it's already on the photo, and then you can adjust it from there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was very long and it was a lot to take in. It was an in-depth editing tutorial basically, and I hope you guys are able to use these techniques and go out full force. And if you do decide to use any of them from this video or the last video, make sure you hashtag TGF challenge to be featured in the next video. Remember, we are aspiring to inspire. So yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.